Right. In today's lesson, let's learn about the repetition statements in Java, how we can apply repeating statements. So we already learned the operator part in Java, which is quite similar to Python. And now we know how to implement it using CLI, GUI, different versions. And the next thing today we are going to learn about, actually we have learned about the if-else statements also, how if-else can be applied to control something. Then in today's session, let's learn about the repetition part. I'm going to start at last. Let's say exercise 16, and I'm going to create this for implementing repetition. Let's implement the public method. And inside the main method, I'm going to write the statements. So let me save this with ex16.java, the same name as the class name. File, save as. I would use the same name like class name. ex16 Java in simple. Save it. Okay. Right. There are few loops that you can use in Java, similar to the Python. We have very common one, which is for loop. The next one is while loop. And the next one is do while loop. So those are the three loops that we can use in Java. For loop is easy because we can tell how to start, how to end, and how to step. Let's say for int k equal 1 and k less than or equal to 10. If I say k plus plus, it will start from 1 up to 10. It will move 1 by 1. Then I can print this k. So that will print from 1 to 10. So let me write a special statement to indicate that the thing is for loop. For loop. And after that also a special statement say that it is ended. So why I am adding this? Because as a heading, and this is to separate the next. Right? Let me save and execute this. Java C exercise 16.java. Java exercise 16 will interpret that, and you can see number for loop is printing numbers from 1 to 10. If you want to print this horizontally, you can say print instead of println, print k, and then after that a space to separate. Then what will happen? When you try to print, it will be printed horizontally. For loop, then the numbers. That is easy, right? Because it is saving space. Otherwise, it's going down, right? If you put print ln, it will go down. It will go down. But if you just keep some space after the k, you can see 1 space, 2 space, 10 space, likewise printed horizontally. So let's try this first. Let's try this first. Let's try for the next one now. No, this is okay. The next one is basically you got errors and fixed it. Now you know how to fix errors. That is also because when you are experimenting this, then only you are learning, right? So you have to remember that. Because when you are writing this, you are not learning. When you are copying this code, you are not learning. But when you are experimenting this, when you are getting errors, then that indicates you are learning. Because then you know how to fix it, how to correct this, what is this error, how can I fix this. Likewise, then you are searching it. Let's do the next one, that is the while loop. In while loop, the difference is you have to introduce the variable first. let's say int, I'm introducing the variable, let's say int d equal 1. I'm introducing and initializing it first. Then I'm writing the condition while d is less than or equal to 10. Then I'm printing this d, and after that I'm incrementing the d equal d plus 1. I can say d plus plus. That is the while version of the same for loop. Let's execute and see. Okay, for loop and while loop, you can see it's printed in similar way. Only thing is the 3 stages you have to divide. You have to start, check the condition, increment or decrement that need to be given separately. That is the while loop. And the third one is do while loop. Let's do that as well. So do while loop. Here also you have to implement this first int, let's say int p equal 1. Then you have to start doing this do print p and p equal p plus 1. The difference between do while and the while is do while will do the thing without checking the condition. It is like jump into the river without knowing that whether you can swim or not. But you jump. After that, you decide whether I can swim or not. First, you do it. Because sometimes you need, when I click on the download button in some website, download button of a file, it will start downloading. Then it will later check whether I have enough space to download that or enough data to download that. Whether I have enough package, enough data remaining, enough space remaining in my disk. That will be checked later. It will first start the download anyway. It will first start the download. Right? That is the nature. So sometimes we need to do this first, and after that only we have to check. Here also we need to do this first. After that only the check comes here. After that you can check while do while d is less than or equal to 10. Once d is greater than 10, you need to stop there. Okay, let's see the execution part. Okay, you can see do while it's going only one time. So what's wrong with that? P, I'm checking P. I have to check D, right? Not P. I check D. I have to check P. If you can see, it's printing there. So please try these two loops also. Please try these two loops also quickly. Let's try to implement few more things using these loops now. Okay. So the first thing that I would like to implement is, so as we discussed earlier in Python also, we can use these loops in different ways. So for an example, okay, let's think I want to print odd numbers. I want to print odd numbers means I have to start from 1, go up to 10. Maybe if I go 2 by 2, 2 by 2 means k equal k plus 2. Then I can print odd numbers. Here also I can start from this and I have to d equal d plus 2. That is odd numbers. Here p equal p plus 2 is odd numbers. See now. So when I implement that, so here I can get odd numbers 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 on all 3 loops. So this is now printing odd numbers. So likewise, I can control this. If I want to print even numbers, I can start from number 2. Start from number 2. Start from number 2. We'll print the even numbers. It's easy. Compile and interpret even numbers. Starting from 2 to 10. Now even numbers. Okay, let's say I want to print square numbers. I can start from 1, go up to 10. Here also p equal 1. And I can go 1 by 1 here. P k equal k plus 1, d equal d plus 1, p equal p plus 1. I can go 1 by 1 and then print, because I need square numbers, I can print k into k. Let's bracket it, k into k. Here I can print d into d. 1 into 1, 2 into 2, likewise. Here I can print P into P. Save, and you can see the square numbers there. Okay. Likewise, according to the need, I can adjust. If I need odd numbers, even numbers, square numbers, so repetitive statements can be adjusted according to that. Okay, let's do a small thing. Now I have explained odd numbers, even numbers, square numbers. Let's try to do this. I will give you few patterns. You have to try to print these patterns using these loops. The first pattern is just 5 stars. Easy. The second pattern is just 5 stars but downwards. The third pattern is that is the third pattern. The fourth pattern, 1 star, 2 stars, 3, 4, and 5. The fifth, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Let's try to print like this. Shall we? Okay, you can start now. And it's okay, you can use all 3 loops, or you can use 1 loop, doesn't matter, right? I'll show the first one, it's very easy. I have to start from K1, K2, K up to 5, go 1 by 1. So what I need to print this time is only star. Right, I can print star. That's all. It will do my task. Compile, interpret. You can see there are 5 stars, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If I need to print this downwards, what I need to do, I have to tell print ln. Then it will print downwards, because print will print horizontally, print ln will print and go to the next line. Okay, I have done first 2 for you. Now you can see it's printing downwards, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, downwards. I have done first 2. Can you do the remaining? This one, and this one. Let's try. I will give you 5 minutes. Give a try. Let's try to implement 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 patterns are there. I will give you a small tip here. So when you want to do, okay, this one is okay for you now. Print ln, you are printing this horizontally or printing this vertically, that is not a problem. You have already done that. This is to print this horizontally. Okay, you have already done that. Let me erase the other things if it is confusing. This part is not needed now. Then only this part is there. When you execute, you can see the horizontal asterisk. And after finishing this, actually you can nest this. Nest this means you can add this to another loop. This you need to do 5 times. Here, this you need to do 5 times. How to mention that? This whole thing, starting from here to here, you need to repeat this 5 times. So you can include this in another loop. For, let's say, for I equal int, I equal 1, I less than or equal to 10, no, let's say 5, then I plus plus, and this will happen 5 times. So let's put everything into this. Then what will happen? The entire for loop and this the new line thing will happen 5 times. As a result, when you execute and implement this, as a result, you will get 5 lines. So I hope that you understood what I'm doing here. Right? This method you have to apply to get other things done. Now fine tune your code. Actually, whatever happened here, you are repeating it 5 times. Now you can fine tune your code accordingly. So try to fine tune it now. Okay, then how you can logically think about the next one and the next one. So here, the number of asterisks are equal. Here, the number of asterisks are always 5 asterisks. 5 lines. So this determine, actually the outer loop or this one determine This need to be executed how many times? 5 lines. Actually, this loop has this new line statement. So it will execute, it will introduce you 5 lines. The inner loop says each line 5 asterisks. 5 asterisks. 5 asterisks in each. So that is the inner loop. Inner loop will say 5 asterisks in each line. The outer loop will say 5 lines. So now you have to fine tune this. So, okay, how to change this to 1 asterisk? If you want to change this to 1 asterisk, let's change this to 1. Then you will get only 1 asterisk, right? You will get 1 asterisk. If you write like this, what will happen? You will get only 1 asterisk. You will get 5 lines, but 1 asterisk, like this. If you say 2 here, 2 asterisks in each line, so 2 into 5. But still your requirement is not satisfied. You need variable number of asterisks. Variable number of, you need 1 asterisk, 2 asterisk, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That means you need a variable. So I'm going to change this to I. Initially I is 1. So 1 asterisk. Then I is 2. The second line I is 2. Then 2 asterisk. The third line I is 3. 3 asterisk. The fourth line I is 4. 4 asterisk. The fifth line I is 5. 5 asterisks. So you can do that by changing that variable to I. Can you see? 1 asterisk, 2, 3, 4, 5. It's easy. So that is the, okay, how to implement the next? So let's try to implement the next also. Similar way, 5 lines, again 5 lines. But this time you are going down from 5 to 1. You're going down from 5 to 1. So to do that, you can do something like this. Okay, let's do 6 minus I. 6 minus I. I is 1, 6 minus I is 5. 5 asterisks. I is 2, 6 minus 2 is 4. 4 asterisks. When I is 3, 6 minus 3 is 3. 3 asterisks. When I is 4, 6 minus 4 is 2. 2 asterisks. Likewise, when I is 5, 6 minus 5 is 1. So 1 asterisk. So you can reduce the asterisks this way too. Or you can go for a decrement. You can start from 5 up to 1. You can go for a decrement. But I think this way is easy. You can see it's increment in the asterisks. The second loop is decrement in the asterisks. Likewise, you can handle these loops as you wish. Okay, please copy down this. Do this. Let me know if you have any errors. So let's do some other thing using, so just to practice. So I will give you one more exercise before we wind up today. So just to practice this, let's do something like this. Okay. 1 asterisk, 2 asterisks, 3 asterisks, sorry, 4 and 5. Okay, try to do this, please. Okay, this is actually in front of asterisks, there are spaces. These spaces are invisible. Because of the spaces, no, those are invisible. You have 4 spaces, 1 asterisk. Then 3 spaces, 2 asterisks. 2 spaces, 3 asterisks. 1 space, 4 asterisks. So let's do this. Let's try to do this. Right. So small challenge. Now you have to think about the spaces too. Earlier, nothing to consider about the spaces because spaces automatically came. That is spaces after the asterisks. No. Now spaces before the asterisks. So let's try this. Will be interesting if you try. You get a lot of errors. That is what interesting. Okay, you have added the spaces. spaces, and after that another loop, 3 loops. It's okay. Yeah, it's okay. It's totally okay, because the only thing is the consideration is the logic here. So once the logic is, because you can do this with 2 loops, but if logic is implemented, doesn't matter, because later you can fine tune, later you can learn the code optimization and all. Up to now, it's okay. I think you understood the concept of how it is running and all. Okay, good. Then actually, the next day we have to discuss about the functions and methods. Functions and methods, basically the object-oriented implementation, and I'll be discussing about that next day. Okay, then. Have a good day. Goodbye.
Goodbye.